Hi, I'm here to talk about Celine from K-pop Demon Hunters, and I feel like some people could be wondering why I'd want to talk about her. She could seem like not the most likable of characters, which I do think is true, but I actually think she's a really interesting character, one of the more interesting characters in K-pop Demon Hunters, and I particularly found her interesting on a second viewing. She's not in the film that much, but she leaves a really big impact on the story and on Rumi as a character, where it really feels like there are two main antagonists in K pop Demon Hunters. I think the more obvious villain being the demon guy, the villain causing the conflict that the heroes have to fight, but it really feels like Celine is also a main antagonist in the film, with the advice that she gave to Rumi really impacting her and in a not very good way, like having her hide who she is from her closest friends, um, the friends that she spends her life with, that she works with, the friends that love Rumi and trust her and are there for her. Um, and Celine feels like she is bothered by Rumi's half demon side and seems to think that her half demon side is a problem. And it does come across like Celine cares about Rumi. To what extent, I don't think I fully figured out yet. I do think that she has somewhat of a family like bond with Rumi, where I feel like she wants to be a really good mentor and somebody that can protect Rumi. And I think that in her mind, she thinks that she is protecting Rumi, but I feel like what she has been doing and has been telling to Rumi has hurt Rumi's confidence, hurt how she feels about herself as a person, um, hurts Rumi's relationship with her two closest friends. I feel like Celine, in a lot of ways, is responsible for the problems in Rumi's life and has really impacted her. Where the demon guy being the somebody that Rumi needs to stop, but in her personal life, on the emotional level, it feels like it's really Celine that's causing her a lot of problems. And with Rumi being the main protagonist, Celine being the person that's really giving her emotional problems, it really makes Celine feel very important to the story and to the growth of the main character. Um, and I think that Rumi's confrontation with Celine is fascinating. One of the best scenes in the film, where Celine really feels like a very multi-layered character in the scene, where she is not being a good influence on Rumi. She's not saying the right things. She's not feeling like a very loving, comforting person, but she also doesn't feel like a one-dimensional villain that dislikes Rumi. It feels like she really does have a strong, genuine care for Rumi. So I think that makes her such an interesting antagonist, because it could have been easy to make her just an evil character that had false love for Rumi, but I really feel like that's not the case. And uh, while the demon guy is a really good villain with a cool presence and a cool manipulation, I feel like Celine is the more nuanced and interesting of the two big antagonists. Um, and I think that Celine has already made herself a character that I find very interesting, that I do care about, although I also don't find her the most likable. Um, I would love to see her come back. I feel like um, after what Rumi's gone through and her growth as a character, I really wonder what she thinks of Celine now. I wonder if she's lost all respect for Celine. I wonder if Rumi wants to give up on Celine, or I wonder if Rumi is willing to talk things out with Celine. I wonder if Celine herself is now more accepting of Rumi. Um, and I think it would be interesting to have Celine have interactions with Rumi's two friends. Do the two friends have a lot of anger towards her now? I feel like there's a lot to be explored with Celine, so I definitely want her to be in a sequel, and I want her to have a big role because I think there's still a lot left to be explored with the character. And I can understand why people wouldn't like Celine. I think that's perfectly fair, but I think the nuance of the character and how it really feels like she has some genuine love for Rumi despite being a bad influence on her makes her a really interesting character, in my opinion. So I really like her, and I think that despite her short number of scenes in the film, I think she really adds a lot.